This is Ozzie Osbourne, and no, for the 100 people who ask me, he is not the rock and roll singer. There is no bat here, and he will not bite off its head.
No, Walt. This is actually, I do this during the daytime.
Going to bite off the head of the animals on Saturday, I thought.
Okay, well, that's for Saturday, not today.
No, I work for IBM during the daytime because it's fun. To make money at night, I played in the band.
The money is the band. Well, as I said before, Ozzie is in charge of a product line at IBM called Via Voice, and there, I assume, be other product lines around this kind of stuff. And he and Janet are competitors, and each thinks their product is better than the others, and there are some differences. But essentially, the sort of thing you saw there is what you could also do with Via Voice. And they were very close in when they came out. And so IBM is deeply involved in this in this important new stuff. And I might start by asking you to talk about how this will change the way the PC actually works. And here's what I mean. Again, just to be opinionated. The PC is basically a mess as something that people can grasp and work. And it's not getting better. It's getting more, in my opinion, it's getting more complicated and harder to use every year. The user interface that we use on computers today has been fundamentally stagnant for 12 or 13 years with no radical improvement in it. You all know that some of the companies in the industry actually employ many more people to answer the phones and try to help people figure out problems than they do to develop new breakthroughs. So talk for a minute about if we actually go over a period of 10 years or however many years it will be toward using speech, what does that mean about the interface of the computer and the whole nature of the computer?
Well, we had a very good example of what the interface should be just as we went through this log in your number and your little machines. Everybody had to figure out you had to hit log in, you had to hit your number, and you had to hit enter. Well, in reality, really what you want to do is say, my number is blah, blah, blah. Thank you. And so...
So would that mean the machine, the little thing would look different, Ozzie? I mean, it wouldn't have those buttons on it?
Wouldn't need those buttons because you could talk to it, could understand what you wanted, and it can...
So no buttons. It could just be a little...
You just
nothing.
talk to it. So what it is that today we are the machines trying to figure out how to use these IT equipment. Within 10 years, the machine will then convert and use us, and it will do what we want, not what they want.
So sort of like when Captain Picard says, into the air on the bridge of the Enterprise, you know, where is so-and-so, when are we going to get to that darn planet already, you know, and the computer says, not only are we going to get there in, 10 minutes and 2 seconds, but the planet is, it's raining or whatever, you know.
Yeah, I mean, if you really...
But am I supposed to believe that?
Well, if you look at the Holy Grail, and everybody keeps saying, what is the expectation? You look at HAL, you look at, Star Trek, it's always that level. And that's the level of expectation that people have on speech recognition today. We are not there today. We're not to where people really wanted to expect it to be. But what we did in '97, from a speech industry standpoint, is we made the first major step, which is we can now speak, it can understand us, and now it's just a simple matter of programming because it's all digitized. It's in characters.
Just a simple matter of
Just
programming.
a simple matter of programming. Right?
Just a little coding.
And really what we have now is that we now can do the next 3 steps in line. You have to recognize speech. You then have to understand what it said. Just like the human brain, when you talk, we filter, we translate what really was the meaning. Then you can take action, and then you can respond. So if you look at where we are, the next step is natural language understanding, and then being able to compute what you want to do, and then it's back text to speech or respond.
And actually, I mean, for instance, Bill Gates talks a lot about how this is just utterly crucial, this natural language understanding thing. Can you, what does that mean?
Well, it's
as opposed to what you do today and what Dragon does today.
Yeah, what we demonstrated at demo a couple of weeks ago was the fact that you can walk up to the machine, any person, speaker independent, say, I want to fly from New York to San Francisco, and it goes and searches some stuff. You can say, I want to go tomorrow. You can start having this dialogue with it. I mean, you don't have to listen to an agent on a telephone. I mean, you can just call them up and get...
I mean, it's even easier than booking a flight on the web where you have to go through like hundreds of steps. And
I mean, if you just think about the web, I mean, trying to get through all the things, what you want to do is say, what did the stock market do today? And it can go in there and go through all the gyrations to give you what you want. And you can personalize it and say, that's not really what I want. I really wanted this or I wanted that. That's what, it's starting to get personalized.
But we don't have any products yet that do that,
No.
right? I mean, I don't,
There
I
are-
was,
there are
I was
products- there are
recovering during demo, so I didn't see your thing. But I mean, that's not, you can't buy that, right?
You're going to start seeing natural language products, natural language understanding coming this year. I think 98 is where you're going to start seeing these happening. You're starting to see tidbits of them now, and I think before the end of the 98 you'll definitely see some products. And before the year 2000, I think the interface will become much easier and more simple to use. And you know, there are many things that we've done, and dictation is just that first step. It's a product. The more important thing we have to work on is speech as a technology. It has to go into lots of applications. It's into everybody's application, whether it's hardware or software. People want to come up and talk to it. Another classic example is that your VCR. How many people know how to change the date on their VCR? Okay, there's a few of you, right? You
Yeah.
really want to be able to go up and say the date is, the time is, and record this. That's the kind of interface that I think we're going to get over the next few years.
Now, wait a minute, let me pin you down. What do you mean, well, over the next few years? Everybody comes in my office and says, over the next few years, it's all going to, I mean, you know.
Clearly within 5 years, you'll definitely be able to do that. I think within 2 years, the turn, you know, year 2000, I think you're
Before or after there are a billion people on the internet? I mean,
well, clearly, to get a billion people on the internet, they have to be able to converse with the internet, and that's what you're going to see. Now, the other part you're going to see here is that speech is just a technology. It's a piece of it.
so it could be embedded into software and hardware.
Right. Okay. You're going to also see it get combined with other things.
Uh-huh.
And if I could, I'd just show you.
Yeah, he has a little video, quick video that he wants to show.
Yeah. Take one here.
Put a shape there. Put a shape there. Make it this big. Make it this big. Make it this big. I'm able to control these virtual objects up on the screen just by asking, by talking, by moving my hands around. Give me the world. The computer responds. I don't have to type anything. I don't have to reach for my mouse or pull down menus or anything like that. Grab that. Make it spin. Go faster. So here I am. I've got the world, and I'm moving it around just by gesturing, just by pointing.
Now, what you saw there was the interaction of hand movements and gesturing, cameras watching your motions, with word using Via Voice. That's
And some clever product placement. I noticed a couple of your Via Voice boxes there in the
absolutely,
corner.
absolutely.
That was good.
Okay, okay. And so, you know, within the realm, this is where we're heading, is people want to naturally do things. You know, delete this paragraph, move this down paragraph down to here. You're going to want to do things, okay, that are more natural, okay? And that's where we're really heading, I think,
Now,
in the future.
I mean, that didn't look like my house. I believe that guy didn't have any wires or anything. I mean, I do believe that, but
That's correct.
But it was a specially built room or area in one of your gargantuan IBM research labs. And IBM has had some of you in the audience know, it's a wonderful company, but it's had a history of, for, I don't know, 20 or 30 years showing these fabulous things out of its research labs that never happen, except in the research labs. So when will my Dell at home, or a Dell that I will buy at some point in the future, be able to actually see me going like this and move things around?
Well, I think within the next 2 to 5 years, you're going to see this technology, not in a general applicability, but I think you'll bring it in specific areas, and you'll start seeing it rolled out and start going into various application areas. What we brought here was to show you where we're heading.
Okay.
Okay, not to necessarily say that's where we're going to wind up and how fast we'll wind up, but it's to think about speech as a technology as it gets integrated into other forms of technology. And that's really where we're trying to head with the speech as a technology. And in fact, we're going to give away one of these later, but this is a DT1000 from Olympus. It's a regular voice recording unit. So you can just do your normal dictation.
This is what tycoons who don't use computers use to
right.
dictate, and then they
dictate.
give it to somebody to whom they pay very little money who
Right. Okay.
types it onto something.
That's exactly what it is. Well, what we can do now is we can then take this out, put it into a thing, and via voice will now transcribe it into text. So people who are on the road can now do dictation, okay? Put it into their system and put it up into the system just like if they're talking.
While
into
they're
a
driving, is that?
Well, I wouldn't do that just yet, okay? That's for the,
So in this case, the via voice in the computer is going to actually interpret the voice, but in a deferred way. I mean,
a deferred way.
You won't be there talking to it. It'll just be reading your voice off that little
that is
chip.
correct. That is correct. Okay. And so that's just another example of where dictation and speech products are going. It's a fairly
Okay.
simple but very productive for people who know how to dictate.
Okay, all right. Where else? What else is, great stuff is coming? And these are, that's real. That's going to be out, so that's good. That's not just in the lab. But tell me some more things that are going to really happen.
Well, as we look at where we're heading, we're going into multiple technologies. Telephony is, the best microphone and the most number of microphones we have in the world is a telephone. So you're going to start seeing the technology. In fact, it's there today. People are working on it to where you can pick up your telephone and make car reservations, stock trades, banking. So the telephone will become a microphone into a speech-enabled world. The other is in the embedded world, as we start moving this into cars.
The embedded world?
That's where you're taking the speech product, putting it into small devices.
Uh-huh.
Okay? Such as a small device could be a car. We can think about where, how many people have accidents with their phone in their ear. So now you can, there are cars today that you can do small
Yeah, you already
numbers.
have that, yeah.
But now you're going to be able to start doing dictation through there. You're going to start being able to do email applications, text-to-speech, speech-to-text. So you can be driving down the phone.
All
road.
work, all the time. I mean, Peter Cochran was talking about going to the gas station, and I think, well, maybe I was wrong, but I think he was talking about getting actual music put into the car.
Right.
But no time to listen to music.
That's right. You can work as
Through
long.
IBM's help, we'll have to be answering email in the car at all times. Okay, thanks.
So where we're heading in this arena is to move the ball forward, to try to make the computer, understand what people want, and we're trying to turn it into a natural user interface.
But are we going to, I guess what I would like to ask is, all right, let's say this stuff happens. Are we going to have a complete revamp of the interface? I mean, Nathan Myhrvold's here. I know he thinks a lot about this. He happens to work for a company that controls has designed the interface on most computers. I didn't mean controls, I meant contributes. But clearly, if you're right, and Janet's right, and Bill Gates, who I've heard talk about this, is right, that there's a chance we'll be doing a lot of this by speech, does that mean no more menus, no more mouse, no more icons, which we all thought were fabulous, and were fabulous, and in some cases still are fabulous, but and we're a big improvement over, typed in DOS commands. But I mean, does that mean we have to have a whole new interface?
I think you're going to see the interface is going to change over time to be much more pliable to the end user, the customer, as opposed to the customer today having to understand all the push buttons. What do I got to push here? What do I got to click here? I just want to go up to it and say, set the date, set the time, or I want to fly from New York to San Francisco tomorrow.
Now, isn't this what we were promised about handwriting recognition? And we know that has essentially failed so far. Why should we believe you about speech?
Well, I think what we've seen in 1997 was the first step in that area, which was to go through and get speech into text. I mean, Janet and her team showed that capability. Is it 100% accurate? No. Are we well along the path to get there? I think so. And I think we're starting to move. And as I said, it's now a programming problem with understanding language, linguistics, and how people talk, just as much as anything else. And so I think the acoustic side is over that. Now, I did bring talking about pen and stuff.
Yeah, I was trying to set you up there.
Well, I know, but...
I saw that legal pad there.
Well, what we have here is a cross pad, which is a...
Now, Cross being the company that makes
Cross,
those pens
right.
that you get on your birthday or something.
Right, this is a cross pen,
Yeah.
and so what this little pen does is allow you to write on the paper. And so you can just write the paper. It's simple.
It's a hell of a breakthrough.
And then what you do is it just saves up to 50 pages worth of information and stores here. You can then hook it up to your computer and download it into the machine, and you can save it, you can turn it into ASCII
No,
documents.
whoa. You can download it into the computer.
Correct.
That means you have to put a cable in it.
Right.
You have to get the right IRQ on the computer, make sure.
Oh, yeah, all that
You got to go
stuff.
through all that
All-
heartache
all
and
that-
hassle and,
Yeah,
you know, I mean, I could be back in the hospital by the time I got it connected. But let's say we get it connected.
Right.
Then, whatever I wrote on those 50 pages of legal pad scribblings
Right.
gets into the computer in what? Does it get into the computer in text form? Is it recognized, or is it just, what is it?
It's taking this as ink and puts it in as a document of essentially bits. You can then go through and do,
You mean it's a picture of the writing on
right,
the
it's
pad?
exactly as it is here, so it's an image of that.
So it's not editable.
Not at that point. You can
Okay.
go through and then run a program that can convert the handwriting into text, and its accuracy is not, you know, it's kind of... But what you can do there is to take these pieces of paper and you can add digital information or do the recognition and start storing them and putting them into text
You
files.
inadvertently did this when you said
You-
add information, but we
You
could
could
be
do-
using speech to
you
do
could,
that.
You could do that.
It was a mistake. It was just a mistake.
And so now we have another way of getting information into the machine that's more natural, okay, as opposed to sitting here doing
All right,
this.
so I write this stuff. I'm an aide to President Clinton. I write this stuff. I put it in the computer. I speak or type a few keywords so that I can retrieve it later,
Right.
in case, you know, which makes it more convenient when I get subpoenaed later.
Correct, absolutely.
Okay.
Okay, so you don't lose them all over the place.
All right, got
Or,
it.
you know, it's like everything else, so,
Okay, well, thanks.
okay? Thank you. Thanks, Walt.